Mason Boulevard and Rockland Avenue. This is Cellar County with Butch and Coffee, and what a glorious day it is today, folks. Today is July 1st, 2021. You know what day it is today, Butch?
Bobby Bonilla Day, motherfuckers. But
yes, that holiday I just learned about 15 minutes before we went on the air.
But in all seriousness, it is a historic day for college sports. It is a historic day for America. And it is
the haymaker to
day.
Mark Emmert's face.
I'm not going to say haymaker to Mark Emmert's face. I'm going to say more of a bag of I told you so and eat shit.
Well, to be fair, a haymaker doesn't always knock you down, but when you see the hit in slow motion, you see the guy's face come off his skull, that's what it looks like.
The Supreme Court,
in a unanimous 9-0 ruling, that means both Republicans and Democrats have agreed universally that the NCAA has to compensate their athletes. So, starting today, college athletes will now have the opportunity to benefit from their name, image, and likeness, aka the NIL. And three divisions.
3 words.
Have to do this now.
Time. About goddamn time.
About fucking... You and I have talked about this for years. For years.
It's just bothered me for so much. Because you know what I've compared it to the past. I won't say it, not to offend anyone.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. South Park had a point. Everything Cartman said was right on the money.
You and I knew people who played college athletics. Not anyone famous, but we knew people that were involved in this god-awful system. We can't name any other corporation on earth or any other industry, at least here in the States, maybe overseas, we can't find anything here where a billion-dollar corporation basically exploits its workers for free. Straight up.
I can think of think of 2 other organizations, but let's not mention their names here. We'll mention them when it becomes relevant.
Imagine 5 years ago. Imagine 5 years ago trying to sign autographs, trying to make money, and then the NCAA comes down on you and suspends you for half of a game. 5 years later, that is now illegal. Imagine 10 years ago, tried to sell signatures for tattoos. All of a sudden, you had the NCAA crawling down your back, and it results in your head coach getting fired. 10 years later, that's now no longer an issue.
Imagine being offered a shoe deal to play in the shoes, even though your whole school is sponsored by the same organization, and they just want to make a different shoe for you. And NCAA is like, no, you can't do that.
Folks, we have a million different imagined scenarios that we could come up with.
And they all probably happened at some point.
But the athletes can now have the opportunity to make money off their name, image, and likeness. I heard one dude filed a trademark in Texas at midnight following the ruling.
There was a guy who had like a huge social media following in high school to the point where he was making thousands of dollars per month, but he was going to play college ball. And he was like, if you play for us, you have to stop now.
That's gross. That's
guess what? If he were to come back, he'd get like all his viewers back. Wait, did he ever go? I don't remember if he went to the NCAA or not.
I don't think he did. If I know who you're talking about, I don't think he did.
Well, the point is, he could probably go play ball at some like D2, D3 school and still make money.
This
could you
historic now?
I can only imagine. I can only imagine right now a bunch of like the big college stars. Like imagine, let's say hypothetically,
Zion. Let's jump straight to the point. Zion.
Yes.
2 years ago.
Yes, Zion.
The Super Bowl, the quote unquote Super Bowl of college basketball matchups between Duke and North Carolina, you had tickets higher than the Super Bowl. You had all these celebrities come in, and the athletes weren't making shit. Zion Williamson goes down the first 30 seconds, potentially almost ruining his
because
professional
of a
career.
malfunctioning, faulty.
Shoe.
I was gonna think of another word, but I can't think right. But yeah, his shoe exploded.
Imagine this role. He's in the NBA, obviously. Imagine this had been any other athlete, ruins his career, doesn't have nothing to show for it financially.
I was actually thinking, in a case like that, if he were to, I'm pretty sure the school would have to cover if he got hurt, because he's got hurt playing for them, so the school would have to cover something.
They have insurance for the athletes, but I've talked to some people, and they say the insurance is not that great.
I'm pretty sure a guy like Zion Williamson could get, like, preferential treatment.
I am ecstatic for the fact that college athletes are no longer slaves to this god-awful corporation, to this god-awful machine. However, this victory is a bit sour. Now, you might ask why. The NCAA was so confident that their ruling was not going to get pushed through, that they had no plan for when their iron wall, their steel wall came down. And in the rubble, when the ash has finally dispersed, the NCAA has basically said, well, wait a second. It's not up to us, it's up to the states. They had no national plan in place, so now every state has a different trajectory on where they want to go in terms of paying their athletes. States like Florida and Texas are now going to be able to pay their athletes right away, whereas states like my home state of Michigan, you have to wait 18 months before this goes to effect. So a lot of people are now worried about financial bias, because you might have an athlete here in Indiana who's going to U of M. Well, Texas could swoop in and say, "Hey, wait a second. We're paying out right now. Why wait 18 months to make money when you can come to Texas and you'll get paid instantly?"
Yeah, that's issue one I have of this glorious ruling, but slightly concerning victory because of that there.
It's something small. Let's. This is small potatoes, because in the big picture, the student athletes have won. The student athletes
this is
finally going to get the fair compensation they deserve for being exploited for decades.
And this is where I sadly deflate the balloon a little, because I gotta point out something here. Yes, student athletes can make money off it, but here's the question: how much money are they really gonna make?
It depends, because
let's take the superstars
right now.
Let's take the superstars. Let's take like the faces.
University of Auburn's quarterback has signed a $20,000 endorsement deal with a very popular sweet tea company in the South. This is just the beginning. Not all athletes are going to make tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I guarantee you a majority of them won't make diddly squat.
Okay. I'm not going to quote it as diddly squat, but they're at least going to get something. Something is better than nothing. And it benefits not just the men, but also the women athletes.
And not just D1, D2, awesome. And D3 also have to start doing this.
Mm-hmm. You could easily find... I was talking to my friend who ran cross-country at Bluffton University, and we were kind of getting into it, and at first he was... I don't want to say he was hesitant, but he's just like, dude, why should I... this doesn't affect me. I ran 7 years ago. It's probably outside of statute of limitations. I gave him the example of finding a local shoe store and saying, hey, I'll sponsor you guys if you guys pay me by wearing whatever brand of shoe you guys want me to run in. And my friend's like, well, wait a second. You could have D2 or D3 athletes trying to exploit that You could have a laundromat, you could have pizzerias, you could have bookstores sponsor you. Hell, you could have a sex shop sponsor you
See,
know.
with that in mind, you know what my mind weirdly got to only because the Olympics are around the corner. I just thought about it. Skateboarding is going to be in the Olympics. So if a guy wanted to do like skateboarding in college and he got sponsored by that, if there was a collegiate skateboarding thing, would that?
There is. You know there is. Come on, dude.
No. I'm not talking like a collegiate league. I'm talking like something like. No, I am talking about collegiate league. I'm not separate from X Games and all that.
You can be sponsored by Pigeon, for God's sakes.
Can you be
Pigeon
sponsored?
skateboards.
Yeah, can you be literally sponsored by a school to skateboard? Anyway, let's get back on topic. That's a discussion for another day.
Bro, I will get Trojan condoms to sponsor me if I was a student athlete. Can you imagine that? Like, Trojan condoms, the official condom of college football.
Oh my god. I wonder.
Because unlike
shit, could you get like a beer company to sponsor you, like a brewery?
Here we have to be really careful because most stadia. Well, okay, this is just for the football aspect. Most universities do not have the permission to sell alcohol on campus. See, there's going to be certain sponsors you have to be extremely careful about.
Well, this is still the NCAA. This is still high level collegiate athletics. So some shit's gonna happen. A very controversial sponsor is gonna.
Have you seen what has come out of this? Did you see Reggie Bush is demanding his 2005 Heisman Trophy back? He is demanding it.
They should give it to him, but it's not
or
gonna
maybe
happen.
the Vince Young.
Well, here's the thing. Barring the actual criminal aspects of certain schools, with this now in effect, do you have to back pay any athletes?
I don't think there's gonna be statute of limitations.
Well, here's the thing.
That's gonna be no.
This whole policy is only temporary until there's an official federal law or an official NCAA guidelines. So they're probably gonna say something where it's like, okay, after this point in time, you're allowed to be paid. Anything back then, nothing, no compensation. But it does make you wonder that now that this is legal, can you go back and say, okay, if it's legal for us to get paid now, what about all the shit we were doing before? It's one of those things where it's like
it's going to be murky, and there's definitely going to be a lot of asterisks coming up. There is going to be
it's going to be a lot of case by case issues.
I got one, and this is something I'm just kind of reading on. It's a report here in the Dallas News. A athlete or a person by the name of Aaron Adair. His father, Steve, was a baseball coach at Trinity Christian, and he died of cancer at 57 back in 2001. Aaron fought cancer as well. He even wrote a book about it called You Don't Know Where I've Been. Well, the NCAA had a problem with this. It said he couldn't make any money off of his inspirational message, which ended his his baseball career at the University of Oklahoma. It's kind of fucked up.
It is.
When you read something like that 20 years ago, and now that being finally stripped away, that violation. It's disheartening.
It reminds me of cases where
SMU almost had to go through the death penalty.
What do you
because
mean?
boosters were paying.
What do you mean had to? They did go through the death penalty.
It blows my mind how much of this stuff was banned and how long of a hot button issue this topic was.
And the other thing, since you brought up the cancer story, there's definitely a lot of cases, some that are major news, some that are underreported, of players literally going to schools because let's face it, the players have a shitty home life. They probably come from a poor family, and the school is willing to pay them. Well, I wouldn't say you can't say pay. You couldn't say pay them back. That they were willing to compensate them to come to university in order to help deal with their financial issues.
Yeah.
The thing is,
well,
can you now legally do that? Can a school now legally do that? If they get a kid who comes from a poor family, it's like, all right, we will pay you $20,000, pay your family $20,000, let's say $2,000 a month if you come with us. Can a school legally do that now? Because I feel like once the official rules come in, you should be able to.
You should be able to, but I think that's gonna fall more on what type of payout they get from sponsorships and what they could do on their own through like autograph signings and whatnot.
Well, we know some of the kickbacks are going to change now.
Bro, I would just say this right now. In the long run, this was long overdue. I'm just over enthusiastic that us being able to flip the bird to the NCAA back in March finally paid off.
Oh, hey, let's go back and do it again.
Definitely, dude. Definitely. I can now say 100% I am comfortable going back to Indianapolis without having any hatred in my heart. Well, there's still the hatred for the NCAA, but a lot of it has died after this ruling. The Supreme Court came through.
I can go up to the NCAA headquarters with a smug look on my face and just walk through with a smug look. It's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it?
When you know Republicans and Democrats came together to rule on this thing, it brings out a bunch of faith in humanity.
Oh my god! You know what
it does.
Okay, this is gonna sound stupid, but you know what it's like. You know, it's like you ever seen that meme from Zootopia where Nick's face just slowly starts? He's got this smirk on his face, and his face just slowly turns into a oh shit moment.
Yeah,
I can only imagine that's Mark's face. That is Mark's face. Let's move on.
What a glorious day.
It's going from a glorious day to some unfortunate news.
Oh god.
Let's start with the more recent one. Let's start with Trevor Bauer.
Oh, let's be careful because we're still getting the details.
There's still details. This and the other one I will talk about.
The description, if true, is very horrifying.
Now remember, folks. Remember, it's always innocent until proven guilty.
Guilty in a court of law.
Yeah, guilty in a court of law. But still, the report
that this
graphic content warning for those who get triggered by this. I will say this graphic content warning.
It took place more than once.
Yes.
In March and April of this year with the same woman. She agreed to have consensual sex, but she did not agree to the stuff that happened while they were having sex. Reports indicate that during the first encounter, she was knocked unconscious, and when she woke up, she was being assaulted from behind.
I believe at one point, Bauer asked her if she ever been choked. And she said yes. So Bauer actually did choke her a little. Reportedly.
Choked her out.
Yeah, reportedly. Again, innocent until proven guilty.
There was afterwards, Bauer asked her, you alright? I know it made you bleed pretty hard. And there's a series of texts exchanged. They were... I don't want to say they were cool about it, but they kept in touch and they got together again. And I guess the second time around, it got even more violence. After she agreed, of course, to have consensual sex with Bauer. The Dodgers, as of right now, I believe he is still expected to pitch on Tuesday because his court appearance date is until the 12th, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. Yeah, but supposedly he was supposed to still start for them, but I don't know if it was Tuesday
He's
or...
still scheduled to pitch on Sunday.
Yeah, as I say, I don't...
According to this, he's still scheduled to pitch in DC.
But I feel like this is one of those situations where the Major League Baseball should say, all right, until we get this cleared up, you can't play. Because I feel like that's...
We have a bunch of, we've had a history of woman beaters recently,
especially in the NFL. And the NFL has taken the route of, all right, until we get this settled, you can't play. Which is the right move in a lot of cases.
Apparently, there are also photographs, new details that come out that show apparently 2 black guys, scratches on her face, and bruised and cut lips. So, wow, this is
there is a restraining order filed against him, too.
Trevor Bauer is a very outspoken person.
What? Wasn't he?
I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to be very careful with what I say here. I liked Trevor Bauer because he didn't take any shits, and because he was willing to call people out. He was the biggest critic of the Houston Astros in the wake of the cheating scandal. He openly stated, "I'm going to bean these motherfuckers."
And the funny thing is, before all this, we were discussing the whole issue about sticky tack and all the stuff, and he was the head guy who we basically said, "You're doing this," and he's like, he dodged the question.
Mm-hmm.
But he was the guy front and center in this controversy, and he's front and center in this other controversy now. I think it's best if he just shut his mouth.
He is the highest paid player in baseball with a salary of $40 million.
Wait, who? He's not. Are you sure he's the highest paid player?
Yep.
Oh, god damn.
A 3-year, $102 million contract with the Dodgers. That was signed.
And he has a ring.
Yep.
And he's got a ring.
Oh
dude. My god, this whole and the next story is not even much better because this affects me a lot. This hurts me.
What happened? What happened in Chicago?
Okay, I still don't have 100% details because I'm still trying to process it all. But I will give you the general gist of what reportedly happened. The video coach Brad Aldrich sexually assaulted at least 2 players, from what I last remember. 2 players were assaulted. These players reported it, and the whole team eventually knew about it. Despite everyone knowing about it, no one did anything. It was the closest thing we could say is it's a cover-up, and no police report was filed. But this is where it gets worse, and this is where I actually feel very sick. Is that
according to this, Vincent was told apparently according to this, 2 players reported the abuse allegations to skills coach Paul Vincent. Paul Vincent told TSN at the time that he asked the team to report the allegations to Chicago police, and their request was apparently denied.
Yeah, but here's where it gets worse. Here's where it gets worse. Is that later Aldrich left to coach minor hockey.
And Houghton.
Yeah, he coached a minor team. Which means, and not only with all this shit going around, they basically gave the team a glowing review of the guy despite knowing this accusation.
He was later convicted of criminal sexual assault in 2013 in a case involving a 17-year-old player.
And that's the thing! He did it to these kids! They literally took the guy who they know assaulted players, literally gave him to a bunch of kids, and he did the same thing.
Boy, howdy, folks.
Those fireworks right there are literally my anger boiling right now at this whole thing. Now the NHL is doing an investigation. There's another independent investigation, but as far as I'm concerned, this guy, the Blackhawks have to have some punishment. Because if it's 100% true that they knew this happened, There's no way in hell you can't.
Let's let more detail. Let's let more come out.
Let's wait till the whole,
because we need to know the full scope. We can't just.
It's. I hate to make this. I really hate to make this comparison because it's not the same level. But you know, it is kind of feeling like the same level. Let's do the same thing we did in the Sandusky. Let's get all the details first before we decide how to deal with this from a team perspective.
Because we're still getting details here in Michigan. Personally, the Robert Anderson story.
Yeah, you're still getting that. And
we had the victims come out and speak because our head coach just had to stand up and defend Bo's legacy.
I don't.
And not to go off on a tangent, dude, but this could have all. I'm not saying the words this could have been avoided, but had our head coach just owned up to it, I guarantee you, these victims would have come out, in person. They would have come out to the public eye.
I was going to say,
blows my mind.
I was actually going to say, only because the more I think about it, the more frustrating I get. That I was going to say that, and you can hate me for this, but compared to the Michigan thing, this is worse because you knew about it, and instead of trying to hide about it, and instead of trying to, you basically dumped them. It's
let's not compare, but Michigan had 800 victims.
Michigan had 800. Michigan had 800 victims. You're right. I shouldn't compare. Yeah. But the key thing that makes me so angry is the fact that not only did you know he assaulted players, which I still know who the players are, so I couldn't vouch if they were adults or not. But you took a guy who assaulted players and put him with kids.
Yep.
You put him with kids.
Robert Anderson, Jerry Sandusky, the list goes on, dude.
This whole everything.
Dude, I get it, man.
I'm seriously about to rip my hair out over this because. But you're right. You were right about earlier. Let's let this thing play out. Let's move on to something else that made me slightly, I wouldn't say happy. Yeah, you know what? Compared to this, it did make me happier. The Suns eliminated the Clippers.
Amen.
Let's talk about the NBA. Let's talk about the NBA update. The Suns have ended the miracle story, the feel good moment of 2021.
Don't call it a miracle story. No, they put the Clippers back
let
their place.
me rephrase that. They ended the feel good story of the NBA season.
Oh, bro, the Phoenix Suns aren't a feel-good story. The undefeated team out of the bubble that got screwed over, and now they're finally getting their chance at a title.
I said the Clippers were the feel-good story because for the longest time, you were in the shadow of the Lakers, especially since LeBron came. But guess what? LeBron's no longer there. You guys actually you finally had a shot. You made the conference finals. Everyone in LA was pulling for you. Everyone who hated LeBron and hate LeBron, I'll be honest, folks.
I get the show. The Clippers had the plan. I get the stench that has come off of Donald Sterling. I understand the
sting of Paul and Griffin not amounting to much.
But folks, you have Kawhi. You have
Paul George.
A legit chance going forward of making it back to this very same level, if not make it to the top of the mountain. However, it is still baby steps, and you need to take this with a grain of salt.
Hey,
Patrick Beverley did not get this memo.
Oh no, he did not.
He decided to be a complete chode and go after Chris Paul. No jokes aside, that was dumb as fuck.
That was a dick move because here's what I'd say. It's not like the Clippers were upset by a team that shouldn't be there. No, the Suns are practically they were the favorites to win the titles come the conference finals. Of all the NBA, they were the favorites. So it's not like
they're
you guys...
the team that has run into the most luck and has not had to play.
They are perhaps
one of the easiest paths to the NBA title in a very long time.
The point is, the Clippers lost to a better team. Accept that you lost to a better team and move on. Patrick Beverley did not.
Nope. He wanted to get on his flight to Cancun, so he decided to get himself ejected with 6 minutes left in the game, and the game's basically out of reach.
Uh,
Good idea going to a media timeout. Oh, hey, I'm gonna shove Chris Paul because he apparently looked at me wrong.
uh, dude, you are this close to becoming Draymond Green in terms of aggressive idiocy. You are this close.
Oh.
Am I not wrong? Am I not wrong?
Oh, I think you're on the money, my friend.
All right,
I think you're
but the big story the two big things for me is, would this series have been different if Leonard played all the games?
Probably.
I felt like the series would have gone Game 7 at least.
Yeah, and I feel like LA would have taken
But the
it.
thing is, Leonard is going to be a free agent this year, I believe.
If it is true, does he try to stay in LA or is he gonna follow the money?
Let me double check and see. What
For
if
the
he's going to
other,
be a free agent?
Now for the Phoenix Suns, this is big. They haven't been back. I think since '96, and this is when they were playing with Charles Barkley.
Oh my God! I gotta think about Charles Barkley in a moment, but
It's beautiful, dude. It's
All
beautiful to see a team that hasn't won an NBA championship fighting for a chance to win their first. It's a team like Phoenix.
Okay, so let's go over to the East for a moment. Just now, Milwaukee beat Atlanta 123-112, so Milwaukee leads the series 3-2 now. And now we got the Big Four talking about the game right now.
They did without Giannis, dude.
Yeah,
Giannis suffered a scary injury.
Yeah, and supposedly he's good to go for the rest. It's gonna be a day-to-day thing, but he's supposed to be there in the finals if they make it.
Well, rock and roll. It's about to be Bucks and Suns, baby.
Now,
I'm gonna take the Suns in 6.
I would say if it goes 7 games, I give it to Milwaukee. But yeah, I would say the Suns. If it's anywhere before that, I give it to the Suns.
I'm actually looking forward to this finals, dude. No LeBron, no Curry, relevant.
No LeBron, no Curry. My only complaint is that I was pulling for Leonard because he'd be the first player I would ever see win a title with 3 different teams.
That would be cool. But
that would definitely be a Hall of Fame move. But the point is, hey, you still got time. You got time to get another one.
Now
let me explain about the Charles Barkley thing before we move on. Do you remember the nachos rant he went on a few years back?
Somewhat, yes.
The whole rant about how the Phoenix Suns were such garbage, and it started with the nachos thing.
Oh my god.
And so I guarantee you, if Phoenix wins the title, Chuck has to go back on
and
every
eat nachos.
Not just eat the nachos. He has to go back on everything he ever said about the Suns from that period.
Oh jeez.
He has to go back his word, and I hope Kenny, Shaq, Ernie hold him to that. Hold him to that.
Amen to that.
Oh God.
I want to steer it towards baseball, and I want to talk about real fast the College World Series. First off, congrats to Mississippi State.
Your first title in history. My mom's alma mater finally won something.
Yeah, kind of cool. That came against the
she actually watched the game. I was at work when the game was on, so as soon as they won, she called me up and she celebrated. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, why is it so important that Mississippi State won? And I looked up, I'm like, oh shit, this is their first title in anything.
Ever. They are the Bulldogs, correct?
Yes.
It is a feel-good story for them. However, for North Carolina State, it is one of bitterness because they too were seeking their first ever baseball national championship.
Can we just say that the College World Series has both the women's and the men's have produced some freaking amazing games? Like I tuned into some of these games in the College World Series.
Would you admit with would you admit with NC State what the NCAA did to them was basically a boner move?
It was kind of a dick move. I would vouch for that.
Listen, you had 13 players play. They lost the first game. They won the second game in a best of 3, in which North Carolina State was prepared to play with 13 again. The NCAA came down with the hammer at 2 a.m. in the morning and said, "Hey, guess what? You're out of the tournament."
Where have we seen this before? I swear that there was a moment where a team, despite taking precautions, had to pull out because of COVID-19 protocols.
Ooh, I wonder where... Oh, yeah, that's right. VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, got absolutely screwed and couldn't play their second round game against, I think it was Oregon.
No, VCU, I don't think they ever played a game. Wait, let me check.
That's why. Because they were forced to pull out the tournaments.
Yeah, so they didn't play a game at all. They didn't play a game in the tournament.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You said second round, and I thought no.
Yeah, that's why because there's the first 4.
First 4 does not
technically classified as the second round.
I don't call it that. Unless we go by official. Okay, let's go by official names. They didn't play a game in the round of 64. Let's go with that. No,
they did not. They got screwed. They were supposed to play 7 seed Oregon. However, with positive COVID tests, the Rams were forced to pull out.
All right, so
if I am a member of the Wolfpack, I am pissed. And the part that bothers me the most is they had COVID protocol for the teams, and obviously North Carolina State wasn't able to continue on, and they had to play. They were forced to pull out. If they really wanted, those same athletes could have got into the stadium. The ones that had COVID, they could have went into the stadium and sat down amongst the fans because there was no COVID protocols in Omaha. There was no testing for the fans. It is absolutely barbaric and stupid that you would have something like that in place.
It's barbaric
for the players and not for the fans.
It's barbaric and stupid, but I would say from a player standpoint, I understand safety is paramount, especially even though we're at the end of the tunnel, we're still in these times. But the big thing to me is the same thing with VCU, is that who tested positive and can they trace back their steps? Because I feel like if you could trace back their steps, you know fully who to put the blame on.
I think it would be interesting.
Because I said it when it happened. It's like, who tested because there was a whole article about there was no social distancing when VCU was in their tournament game, in their conference tournament, and there was no social distancing, no issues there. And then suddenly the players got sick. So if you could a school go back and look and say, okay, this is what happened. We should really look at this person and say, hey, we lost our game because of this guy.
I think they should. They should be able to.
They should, but I'm also going to play devil's advocate. I'm pretty sure there's a legal and moral reason why you don't want to ID the person that's probably responsible for you not getting in the tournament. Or for you.
Because they're going to get death threats.
They're going to get death threats, and they're going to get the shit beat out of on the street. And let's be fair. In all fairness, if they did it on that, I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume that both of them were completely by accident. Then you're not good. Then let's not do it. If it's fully by accident, if they didn't know they had COVID and they gave COVID to the players, that's not their fault. They didn't know. That's just the reality of the situation, and there's nothing else you can really do about it. NC State, I hope you can make it back next year, because let's put it this way: you came close years ago, decades ago.
So close.
Decades ago in 1968, and the last time you were here was 2013. You can make it back here. It's
Anything is possible.
And baseball is a weird game. Anyone can make it.
And we've had a lot of new teams. Coastal Carolina came in and won it a couple of years ago. That was a pretty fun story. Michigan almost came in and won it last 2 years ago.
When we went down.
Yeah, 2019. That was. I think Vanderbilt won that time.
Yeah, Vanderbilt won that year, and they lost this year too. They lost the championship. They lost the championship series.
Yep. Oh, jeez.
Okay, to all those teams, you'll keep your head up. You'll make it back. It's baseball. Just keep playing your game.
Anything else you want to discuss today before we take off?
Speaking of not identifying people who make mistakes, and I'm saying mistake loosely in this case, we had a woman who caused the biggest bike wreck I ever saw in the Tour de France.
And guess what? Breaking news, they caught her. They found her.
So let's start.
She's not with the country, as initially reported. But please set the stage. Set the scene.
So, during stage 1, I believe this was like stage 1?
Yes, it was stage 1.
There was a woman who was literally on the course holding a sign. The sign read, I believe in German, something about grandma and grandpa.
Grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, she stepped a little too far in.
She was over the road.
I'm being generous here. She was a little bit too far up on the road. And cyclists were swerving to get around her and eventually start crashing. And there's this huge pile up.
That caused multiple injuries. It caused quite a few people to drop out of the race.
Like some of the EMTs who came on the scene said it looked like a fucking natural disaster.
No. God damn it. Okay, wait a minute.
Why'd you just look up?
The Tour de France is dropping its lawsuit against the woman who caused the massive crash.
I was getting to that.
No,
I was getting to
damn
that.
it.
I was getting to that. When this first came out, there was a manhunt to find this woman because the Tour de France was going to file charges and a lawsuit against her. Eventually, now the story, they found her. She's not going to be charged with anything, but she's not going to be charged with anything from the Tour de France. However, again, with my limited legal knowledge here.
How is this blown out of proportion? What? That's what they're saying. Why they're pulling the lawsuit.
Get it?
If anything, you're making a point.
No, here's the other thing I was going to say. Is that the Tour de France isn't going to do anything, but I heard some of the riders are going to file lawsuits and charges against her because some of the riders had to retire from the competition because of the injuries. And in a case like this, in cycling, you need sponsorships. So if you were out there trying to maintain your sponsorship or get new sponsors for Tour de France, and this crash happened and took you out, that's literally suing for damages from your income.
I am pissed.
I feel the reason they pulled out
she
of
tried
the loss
to flee is the other part. She didn't stay. She fled the scene. Yeah. That's the part that angers me the most about all this. And you're not going to sue her. You think you're going to?
Here's my theory. Again, here's my theory. If you were to officially sue her or file charges against her, her name becomes public record. I guess to protect her identity, they weren't going to go through with it. But given that this is 2021, I guarantee you someone on social media has found out who this woman is and has.
I hope they did, and they rip into her.
No. I actually hope they don't, because you know what this oddly reminds me of, but it's not as disastrous. Steve Bartman.
Oh, God.
Steve Bartman.
Yeah, but Steve Bartman didn't hurt people. Yeah, he hurt the Cubs, but he didn't actually physically hurt anyone.
Let's look at the key word here. they did something on accident. We should not punish people for accidents like this.
Yeah, but she should have known better. Don't stand in the middle of a damn road.
Yeah, that's the one difference between the Steve Bartman thing and her is that she should definitely know, hey, I shouldn't be on the road where these bunch of these bikes are going to come riding through. That's something she chalked it up to idiocy, and I will say this. I wish you all the best, but for those few minutes, you're the dumbest motherfucker I ever met in my life. And I really do wish you the best, but you are still a dumb-ass motherfucker.
I have 2 more things to say.
All right, go ahead.
Congratulations to the Canadians on your complete and utter sweeping by the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I knew you were going to go. We didn't talk about the Stanley Cup. I knew you were going to bring that up.
The Islanders fans, I feel your pain. Losing on a shorthanded goal, that's gotta be the epitome of failure. But to the Montreal Canadiens, the team no one expected to, congrats on getting to the top. Now, take this pounding in, take this avalanche, and let it overflow you. Let your screams be drowned out by the sorrow of an absolute reckoning. If the first 2 games have indicated anything, this is not going to be a series. It is going to be a goddamn massacre. I know we weren't going to talk much about hockey, but I just wanted to get that out of the way.
No, that's fair. The only thing I can say about this is that, well, we know who's going to win. Let's talk about... Let's focus on the NHL awards. Let's focus on all the awards that were given out recently.
Go ahead.
All right, so let's talk about like all the we're going to talk about all the big ones here at the moment since we need NHL stuff to talk about. Let's talk about the MVP, of course, Connor McDavid. Who else?
And what did Edmonton do? What did Edmonton do in the playoffs?
They did what they did every year. They shit the bed.
Really would call that a MVP moment, but okay.
What else we got? Well, let's remember all.
Well, Steven Stamkos. Seriously, you're not gonna get the MVP.
I was about to say, if you want to talk about MVP who had a great regular season but shit the bed, we can talk about Russell Westbrook all day.
Oh God.
Marc-Andre Fleury, best goaltender.
Oh, that. That mistake in game. What was it? Game 5.
I knew you were gonna freaking go there. I knew you were going there.
What else do we got?
That
was man. 0 for 2 on these. All
right. What's the other? Let's Adam Fox, best defenseman from the Rangers.
I don't see why not. I'll give him that one. I guess I can't really.
I actually don't know much about this guy, but the Calder winner this year is Kirill Kaprizov. I hope I'm saying that name. But if you look at a photo of this kid looks like a very rugged Tom Holland. If Tom Holland played hockey, does he not look like that?
I see what you're saying.
Do you agree he looks young as hell, though?
Yes.
Oh, he makes Connor McDavid look like he's 30. How old is Connor McDavid now?
I think he's 26. Or 20.
Oh shit, really? I'm looking it up. Connor McDavid age. He's 24.
I mean, he's younger than me.
Yeah, he's younger than me too, but still, he makes that guy look way older than he should.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
We have Rob Brindamore winning the Jack Adams. I am sorry if I'm fucking up your names here.
It's fine.
He won the Jack Adams Award for Coach of the Year. I did not know this was...
The President's Trophy was the Colorado Avalanche?
Yeah, I know. Shocker.
Wow, they really pooped. They really pooped the bed in these playoffs.
You have no idea how fucking hilarious that is.
How
Uh,
great! I know it was a shortened season. 82. They tied with Vegas for points, but they had a tiebreaker. Wow, that is damn. And Vegas got further than them.
well,
Eric,
hockey has always been for the past years. Hockey's always been weird. You've experienced it. I've experienced it.
experienced it.
Um, I did not know this was an award, the Lady Bring Trophy for Most Gentlemanly Player. How are you the most gentlemanly player in hockey, Jacob Slavin? How? Do you just like?
Well, it's supposed to be outstanding sportsmanship.
Okay, so is this one of those things where I check you like, oh, I'm sorry, Chucky, let me help you up here.
I mean, he's a really nice guy.
I'm pretty sure a lot of these hockey players are actually the nicest people you will meet. They just play a game where you literally
and he's on the Hurricane. He is on the Hurricanes. Come on, is on the Hurricanes.
Yeah. I got
All right.
that. Yeah.
One more thing before we go. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. On a day where we have a historic ruling for the Supreme Court about the NCAA being forced to pay their athletes, we now have a annual holiday, a semi-annual because this is only temporary between 2011 and 2035. But
you still got to pay the guy all the way till 2035.
$1.9 million is going to Bobby Bonilla because the Mets decide to, instead of buying out his contract, offering him this cute little carrot with the incentive of doubling their investment. An investment that was made out by Bernie Madoff, the ultimate shyster who robbed the Wilpons blindfolded. The Mets lost out on a lot, and they are now paying the price. They are the meme of the sports. But in a ironic twist of fate, the new owner of the Mets has decided to have a little fun with this. Did you see what they're doing with the club suites at Citi Field?
No, I did not. Tell me about
Tonight,
that.
they are offering them out on Airbnb. You can stay at Citi Field in one of the club suites for one night in a tie-in with Bobby Bonilla Day. I think that's pretty cool.
Shit, that actually is pretty dope.
I wouldn't have it be at Citi Field because you're too close to LaGuardia. I would do at PNC Park.
Oh yeah, PNC Park is fucking beautiful.
That would be cool.
Despite having one of the shittiest teams in baseball right now, that park is to freaking die for.
The overview of downtown Pittsburgh would be what would ultimately get me. That would be so cool. So listen to this. Guests will be able to enjoy a day-and-night game from a VIP suite, which includes unlimited hot dogs and drinks. They'll also be allowed to use the Mets gym facility during their stay to get them ready to throw out the ceremonial pitch before a team's July 28th night game. Booking for this one-night stay opens up Thursday, July 8th at 12 o'clock. This is too cool, dude.
This is like a sweepstakes. Like if someone entered a competition and they won, this is like exactly what they would get.
I would never be a Mets fan, and I don't really have much interest in going to New York, but damn, if you're a baseball fan, this is almost too good to pass up.
This is too good to pass up, and I have nothing against the Mets. The only thing I say about the Mets is that your home run celebration.
Good luck in their stadium.
Your home run celebration with the apple. I'm sorry, that's second to the Miami Marlins. That's the dumbest
cool,
thing.
dude. It's cool. No, come on, man. It's tradition. It was from Shea. I think it's actually a cool tradition. The lighting of the apple. That is pretty unique.
Like every time I play the show and I have to like, no joke. Every time I play there, play there. There's always a home run hit, and I see that app. I'm like, oh my god, this is beginning to be the most frustrating.
Okay, so I am technically wrong. Citi Field has public transit. They have a line that goes right outside the stadium. It's the airport, LaGuardia, that doesn't have it. Although, good idea building a baseball stadium right next to a major airport in one of the most notorious prisons in the United States. Still, regardless, I think that is pretty cool that they're offering this.
You know what? My complaints aside, you know what, Mets? You did good. You put on a promotion that was actually pretty damn enjoyable, and I actually I actually think other teams should do something like this.
Oh yeah, Pittsburgh definitely.
Can you imagine if the Cubs pulled off something like this?
Oh my god, that would be insane.
Like I know the Sox probably would do something like this, like it was the Crosstown Classic. It's like, hey, if you're a Cubs fan, enter this competition, we'll give you the full White Sox series. So why the Sox are better than the Cubs?
I could see them trying to make a play at USL.
Especially if there's like rivalry. Like I know the Yankees will always have one up on the Mets, but I think this time the Mets got one up on the Yankees.
Oh, they definitely got one up on the Yankees.
Oh, could you imagine like dude, look at all the baseball teams in California. Just imagine just like a rivalry about who can put the best promotion on down there.
I think it'd be Padres. I think it'd be the Padres. If I could choose anyone, it would definitely be the Padres.
Yeah,
Dude. Dude, look what you got me doing. You got me fantasizing about baseball.
Oh, man. This has been Cellar County with Butch.